Got a VCR in to look at today. This one's another one of those Samsung multi-system units that will convert between NTSC, PAL, and CCAM. This one here was shipped in. Its claim is it's not working. So we're going to see if we can get this one going and save another unit from the recycle bin. Let's check it out. So this is another SV5000 Samsung that I got in to check out, complete with remote control. Don't know what it does, so before I plug it in, let's take it apart. Okay, let's apply power and see what it does, if anything. I heard a motor kick there. I wasn't paying attention as to which motor kicked, but let's hook up the outputs to the monitor. We'll just power cycle that again and see. I think it was probably the capstan motor. Yeah. Capstan motor briefly kicked, and that's it. We'll try force loading a cassette, or faking a cassette. Nothing happens. Doesn't turn on. Just that initial kick. I have a feeling we got power supply problems. Two right off the bat. The tops are popped on them. Well, definitely these ones are bad. But there will be likely more. That resistor looks like it might be a bit burned. Let's get the mechanism out and the board out so that I can replace those bad caps. We'll start with those. Let's see whether that fixes this one. Start with the arrow mark screws and remove the front cover. New shoes today, just breaking them in. Well, who the hell does this? A twist tie? Really? Or a twist tie, I mean a zap tie? Really? Around this? like, what was the purpose of that? Other than to hang up the circuit board when someone was trying to remove it. So let's get these dead, the ones that we know for sure are dead, out of the board. Looks like somebody's changed these before. Look at this. Somebody has changed these caps before. That's probably who put that zip tie on there. Well, they put in a U-Bright. That one's been changed. And the other one was this one right next to it here. This one's been changed before on here too. Another U-Bright. I would say U-Brong. Did they put him in wrong? Did they put him in backwards? I think they had him in the right way. In fact, all these caps have been changed. These are not originals. Every one of these have been changed in the past. Because those aren't the original ones that Samsung would have put in. These ones here are originals down here. Right? Looks like all these caps have been changed. This one down here has also been changed, I believe. And this one, and this one, and this one. This is another 470. I got a 470 here and a 1000. What else are there? Makes me nervous when I see these same brands of capacitors that we know that a couple of them have blown for sure. Are the rest of them also bad? Maybe, maybe not. Let's find out. We'll put the ESR meter on and we'll just take a look at these other ones. Obviously these ones at the tops are popping on, are obviously bad for sure. But for the hell of it, we'll just we'll put the meter on them and see that they are, yeah, 1.8. Yeah, it's a little bit high. It's a 470 at 50, so it should be like 0.009. This is a 1000 at 50, and this one's measuring 32. So let's just take a look at the other ones here that are also on this circuit. Let's make sure that I ground them all out first, short them out, make sure that there's no charge in any of these here. I don't want to have my ESR meter go kaboom. So we'll make sure that all these capacitors are drained. And we'll take a look and see how bad these other ones are. I'm expecting that they will be, oh, that one's 0.03, that one's okay. 0.1, that one's probably okay too. How about this one here? 0.05, that's the one I removed. And this one over here is, where is it? This one down here is, yeah, that one's going bad. Okay, so that other one's also going bad over here. That's this one here. This is a a 10 microfarad at 250. Why is there a 10 microfarad at 250 in this thing? It's 2.4. 10 microfarad at 250 is probably okay. Yeah, it says it's ESRs could be what did I say here? 2.5 ohms. This is measuring 2.4, so this one might be okay. Why is such a high voltage capacitor on the secondary side? I think someone just put the wrong value in, because there's no way in hell that that's running at anywhere near 250 volts. It's on the secondary side of the power supply. I think someone just stuck in a big cap because that's what they had, and same goes for these ones here. These are 50 volt rating capacitors, and typically these would normally have been like maybe 16 or 25 volts in the original. Should go back and look and see what the values were on the last SV5000s I've worked on, because yes, you can go up in voltage on capacitors, no problem, but as you go up in voltage, your ESR also creeps up, and when you're dealing with high frequency power supplies, such as switch mode power supplies like this is, well, that increased ESR is going to give you increased heat, which is going to shorten the lifespan of the capacitor, and that's why so many manufacturers will pick ratings that are relatively close to where their operating voltage is, for that reason, because they have a lower ESR. But this is what was in here when I received it. But as I say, somebody's already replaced them, and I think they went overkill on this other one over here and went to a very high voltage cap, which not going to hurt anything, but it's certainly not going to, it doesn't need that kind of rating. And I see I just caused someone confusion. Someone's going to jump all over that. I should not say internal resistance. I should say the ESR, the equivalent series resistance. Because, of course, there's no resistance in a capacitor. They block DC, but they pass AC. And that's what ESR is. ESR stands for equivalent series resistance. So the lower the resistance to an AC signal, the better the performance of the capacitor. That's all I'm getting at. So I went and looked up my other, the other one I had where I changed that cap in the past, and it was a 10 microfarad at 100 volts, which I don't have. But this one here, ESR wise, it's not sky high, so we'll put this one back in, and we'll just change the two that we know for sure are bad just by how they've measured ESR wise, and the fact that the tops are popped on them. I'll put this other one back in. We'll change out these two and then see whether that gets this unit functional. I'm almost tempted to change all these ones out of the same brand, just because two of them went bad, but that really doesn't mean anything, because it could be just the frequency that they're operating at, and these other ones may not be getting the same abuse, because they typically will have one capacitor directly connected to the rectifier, and then you've got a choke coil like here and here, and the secondary filter is on the other side of the choke, so it doesn't tend to get hammered as hard with the full high intensity pulse from the rectifier. So typically when you've got two capacitors that are in parallel with each other, but there's a choke coil between them. There's the choke there, there's another choke over there, and the other ones downstream, of course, get the additional filtering of the choke, so they're not getting hit as hard, and they typically don't fail to the same degree as the original one did. So let's get the two new replacement caps in for these ones that were bulging, and we'll put this one together and see whether it works. I'm betting that that's all that's wrong with this. Well, maybe not. We'll find out. I have a feeling that this cap original one was not a 50 volter, just from the physical size of this unit going in. It was probably a 35, but I'll replace it with what came out like for like, just because I don't know what the original one was, because somebody else already did this.
Now, the reason I'm not changing all the caps in there, like the last guy did, is because it's not necessary, as I already explained.
He was using lead-free solder too.
The caps that follow the inductor are not going to get the high-frequency noise, high-frequency pulses, and the originals probably were fine. It's just someone changed them all because they didn't know any better, which is what a lot of amateurs do. They'll change all the caps because, hey, if we do them all, we're going to make sure that we get the problem. I prefer just to change the ones that are actually causing the problem, because the other ones will be fine.
Okay, we'll clean the mode switch on this one as well. Does it looks like it may have been cleaned? No, it needs to be cleaned. It's kind of gungy, so we'll put some deoxit in the mode switch and give it a clean. Use the good old D100. I'll put some more in the switch just to coat the contacts. Make sure they stay clean for a while. Polish the contacts up. Oh, had a light burn out in here. I was looking in the corner of the shop there. It's awful dark over in the corner. One of the light bulbs blew out. It's actually a CFL bulb that's been in there for, I'm going to say, almost 20 years. You don't need to put the screws in just yet. Just want to see whether it will fire up and work like it's supposed to. That looks better. That looks a lot better. Okay, let's try putting a tape in the machine and see whether it will play.
And that's it. Done. You're finished. Simply turn on your PC control panel. Set to the VGA 60 Hz mode.
That
Turn on
works.
the Series 95 display and switch to
And the different output modes, obviously,
roll.
will also work.
Just think of the possibilities, whether it's in the home, the office, or the classroom.
That's all there was to it. It was just a couple of caps that were blown. No need to change them all. I'm just looking for some other tapes that are in PAL and CCAM for testing. I have a PAL and a CCAM tape here. So let's try the PAL tape first. See how it converts to NTSC. There we go. That one is now playing back. And we'll try the CCAM tape next.
Courageusement aux divers envahisseurs. Elle a depuis perdu ses murailles et retrouvé.
Of course, CCAM always looks like crap.
La première en date du monde gothique. La douceur de vivre.
But it does play CCAM. Now time to put the unit back together. That's what that notch in the board, by the way, is for. Is the route the cable through. The screws in the bottom, and then the bottom, the 2 feet on the bottom. And then we'll just clean the machine and get it ready to go back home. There we go. All done. I can play this all day because I shot this. So I don't have to worry about anybody making a copyright claim, although I'm sure some idiot will. Speaking of copyright claims, I've had about 100 claims made by some scumbag in some foreign country that we won't name here, but they're very good at posing as Microsoft technicians too, apparently. But they're claiming copyright claims on pretty much everything I've been doing over the past year. I'm getting on average between 5 and 10 claims every single day. Usually content where I've used a piece of music or something from Music Bakery, which I do have a license for. But I have to go and identify, because they usually only claim on a little snippet of a piece of song, right? So I have to listen to it and see what it is, and then I have to go through my library and listen to stuff because I can't identify every single track by listening to a little 10-second clip from it. I have to go through and figure out which track it is, and then I got to go through my documents and find my license for it and go to Music Bakery's site and find the link for it and send these idiots, these companies that make the claim, I have to send them the link and send them my purchase receipt, which I've got for all of the music, and then they release a claim. But they'll make a claim on the same song over and over and over and over and over. So in one case, I've had the same song claimed 10 times on 10 different videos that I've done over the past, 8 or 9 years. So it wastes an awful lot of my time having to go and look this information up to keep these scumbags at bay. Between those scumbags and the scumbags that take my content and copy it and put it up on their own channel, and then I have to police it. So you're wondering why I haven't been releasing a lot of stuff lately. Well, I've been pretty busy just managing the channel and protecting my own brand. So don't complain that you're not seeing enough content. I'm doing it as fast as I can, but as I say, it's almost become a full-time job. I'm just going to put the machine through its paces, go through all the different modes. So there's play. Yeah, these machines rewind pretty quick. Fast forward. Rewind. Play. Forward search. Reverse search. Rewind. Yeah, I'm just going to let this machine run. I always like to do a test run on equipment, so I'm just going to rewind this tape and then let her play from beginning to end. Just make sure everything's working good before putting it together and sending it back, but everything's looking good now so far. It's slowing down as it gets near the beginning of the tape, which is what it should do. So the machine slows down as it gets to the beginning so that it doesn't hit the end and break the tape. and then go back into play. And here's my playback recording, or playback of my tape. Anyway, that one's done. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one real soon. Bye for now.